Now, I'll be very curious how much of Spider-Man will feed into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I'd imagine quite a bit, but maybe it's just me. When I hear the word reshoots, I get a little nervous. Marvel reshoots, I typically don't, because Marvel plans reshoots into their schedule ahead of time. Well, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is undergoing reshoots, but massive reshoots that are getting me a little concerned. Granted, I know Doctor Strange did a lot of filming during COVID, and that's supposedly what these reshoots are for, of getting actors available that weren't available during COVID. But these reshoots, from everything we're hearing, are 6-day week working conditions for a couple months. Those are significant
Yeah.
reshoots. Normally, reshoots are a few weeks. As much as Josh and I were like kind of about Zack Snyder's Justice League, those had reshoots. A few weeks. Nothing too extensive. Months, though? Months
That's
and months? This is significant, I think. And here's my concern. I don't seek out spoilers. I just get them every once in a while. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness has been a pretty tight ship as opposed to Spider-Man No Way Home, in which case there's a big, huge gunshot wound in the side of your ship and you're leaking everything. Doctor
yeah.
Strange in the Multiverse of Madness really has been pretty tight-lipped. We haven't heard a whole lot about it. I'm worried with these reshoots that a lot of stuff is going to come out. But at the same time, I'm excited because I think In the Multiverse of Madness is planning some very big things. And I feel pretty confident saying at least one of the people involved in this movie, because he's older and doesn't care if he spoils anything. So if you guys don't want to know who accidentally spoiled, by my guess, who it is, then come back in maybe about a minute or two. It's pretty safe to say, at least for me, Michael Keaton is coming back
Yeah.
for In the Multiverse of Madness, because he was just on either Kimmel or Fallon. They're the same person to me. And he basically said, oh yeah, tomorrow, which was a few days ago, tomorrow I'm going to be filming some stuff as Vulture. And you can maybe think Spider-Man, but I think that one's been completely done and in the can for a while. Same thing with Morbius. It's too late in the game. That's January. I'm sure his stuff's already done. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, though, is doing reshoots right now. And he didn't say, I'm filming some stuff. He said, I'm filming some Vulture stuff. So whether he's coming back for that or what. But
Yeah. It's
I,
Michael Keaton.
yeah. Uh, he's the small fish, though.
No, I agree. I
Uh,
completely agree.
what do you think about these reshoots before I go full on tinfoil hat theory here?
um, I dang man, I just here's the thing. Here's my thought process. I am with you. I normally don't necessarily worry about Marvel reshoots because it doesn't. They typically, like you said, plan them, so it's not that big of a deal. But like a couple months is basically a full movie.
Yeah.
Like that feels like a full movie to me.
Halloween movie shooting like a month or two. The whole thing.
Yeah. So it's like that. I don't want to say they had a pretty solid thing, and then they were like, let's change some stuff up, and then realized if they changed one or two things, they've got to change the whole thing. I just, I don't know, man. Maybe somebody finally pulled the trigger on on opening the universe all the way. Maybe there was some contract they finally got signed and they finally have access to a lot more characters. Who knows? It just that's honestly that feels more like what I hope that's more what this is, and not that they're like, all right, let's just reshoot the whole movie, because that tends to lead to disaster, and I'm not really. I really really want this to be a good movie. It's you know me, I love interdimension and like magic and like that stuff is really cool, and we need more of it. Um, Also, maybe. Ooh, I just had this. If Shang-Chi shows up in this for some reason because he is dealing with mystics and stuff like that,
It did
who
deal with
knows?
Wong.
Yeah. Ooh, ooh. God, I need Shang-Chi.
You
I need
get
him more.
Shang-Chi to kill the Iron Fist version, to kill the Netflix version of Iron Fist, and just go, yep, he's dead now. We have to find a new Iron Fist.
it'd be it'd be really interesting if they use this as opportunities to close off certain storylines. Maybe like Daredevil from the Netflix, like close off the Netflix stuff in a specific way so that people will stop being like, it's part of the same universe. They could pop up at any time. But like, no, we're going to take those characters away because we want to be able to we want to be able to do them with the freedom of film. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to be nervous, but I think the scale of reshoots is what's making me nervous.
So, when they were filming most of this already the first time, it was during the pandemic era. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have as many actors available due to maybe concerns or international travel restrictions, which is lightening up. And if I remember correctly, this was filming in London because
Yeah.
Pinewood Studios. I think they've got some big fish that they are trying to hook. There has been one massive rumor, even before the pandemic, basically from the get-go with this movie, that they've been rumoring and talking about and thinking about. Not they, just Disney. I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but I'm starting to believe it. Say it with me, Josh. I think Hugh Jackman is coming back for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I think either Hugh Jackman or Patrick Stewart.
Okay.
I think one of the two is coming back for this movie in the same way that Toby and Andrew are coming back for No Way Home. Now, I know some people are like, well, Logan finished his story perfectly. Yes, it did. But maybe it's not that universe's Logan. Maybe it's a different universe that maybe because Marvel, for some reason, now that Endgame is done, now they care about suit accuracy and looking like comic book characters. Maybe this universe's Hugh Jackman's Wolverine comes through in a yellow suit or wears an actual suit. I'm still on the fence about the Hugh Jackman one, but the rumors haven't died down, and I think there's some validity to it. The one that actually makes more sense, though, would be Professor X. Either McAvoy or Stewart, because if Scarlet Witch is going to start messing everything up, you need a very, very powerful individual to be able to stop them. Then maybe when they run into him in some other universe, because still leave it as they're from a separate universe, he'll say something along the lines of, your mutant powers are off the charts, to which Strange and Wanda can go something along the lines of, what do you mean by mutant powers? And then that would leave the door open for maybe they were not aware of mutants in our own universe, which gets them back to being interested in our stuff. I think the first hint of X-Men is in the Multiverse of Madness. If that still could be way off in the distance, but I wouldn't be surprised if No Way Home is how we explain the previous Sony movies, and in the Multiverse of Madness is how we explain the previous, what Marvel calls legacy movies, the Fox X-Men movies, or in this multiverse over here, we've got Ben Affleck's Batman and Jon Favreau's Foggy Nelson. Because don't ever forget, people, Jon Favreau was in the original Daredevil movie. So I think Marvel's making a play to say, hey, everything is canon. Everything has happened, just maybe not necessarily in our universe.
Fine. I think it's so tricky because I do think Hugh Jackman, when he left as Wolverine, was in a place mentally that was like, not like I want to be done with this character, but because it was, I think for him, it was more, I'm tired of keeping up this workout regimen. I'm old now. I don't want to deal with this, which is fine. He loves the character Wolverine. So, I mean, there is that. But I would love.
And Kevin Feige loves Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
I know.
Because Kevin Feige worked on those X-Men movies.
I know. I just.
And also,
if it's I do think Professor X makes the most sense, and I personally, as much as I love Stewart, would love James McAvoy to come back as Professor X. I think there's some longevity to not. See, that's so tricky because if you
although,
want to say it's Patrick Stewart, he's gonna live forever.
if you want to like immediately just sell out all the box office, like I know people are going to freak out when Toby and Andrew show up if they do in a trailer, but can you imagine the Doctor Strange trailer? You see Wanda and Doctor Strange fighting back to back against all these galactic threats. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Cut to black. I heard you needed assistance. Fade up. Patrick Stewart. Everyone would lose their minds.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I do think I think without a doubt, first hint of mutants is going to come from this movie. I think it's more likely to be Professor X than Wolverine.
We're bringing back Toad.
Dude, I'm not against that, honestly. I would love to see a legit Toad.
And have Doctor Strange go, you know what happens when a toad is struck by magic? Same thing that happens to everything else.
I hate that line so
It's
much.
so bad.
It's so bad. I will say, if there was ever a time for Tom Hardy to show up as Wolverine, I'm kidding. I'm obviously kidding because
yes, and Jesse Eisenberg will be Magneto.
I kind of want that to happen.
No,
just to spite you.
In which case, I'll be what's his face, Anger from Inside Out for the rest of time.
I think the point we're making here, though, is with the reshoots, there's obviously a good reason because it is Marvel and they don't do reshoots without good reason, especially not this massive of reshoots.
Yeah, these are big reshoots. There's clearly something big that they're scheming about.